All right, so welcome to our second AI in 30 Gemini series. This one is all about prompting. Our first video was all about just the layout of Gemini and how the different parts of Gemini. So that will be in this playlist. So I'll send out the link to the video, but it's actually a playlist link, so it'll have all of the videos in there. So we're going to be going between this presentation, which Dawn Miracle, she is a teacher at Mommy. So AI prompting. So the first thing is, why does AI prompting matter? And when you first start using either Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, there's so many out there. I really focus on Google Gemini for education because we are a Google for Education school. So our version, when we are logged into our Google account and we bring up Gemini, it is a closed system. It's a core product. So it's not training any AI. So everything stays here. So it doesn't go anywhere. Like if you would put information into ChatGPT, they're using that to train their models. I'm not saying I don't use ChatGPT. I just don't use ChatGPT for anything school related. All right, so prompting. So a lot of people get frustrated at AI because it doesn't, we're not getting what we want. The AI is only as good, the responses that you get are only as good as what you put in. Different AI tools provide different outputs. So sometimes I will drop stuff into ChatGPT personally, like if I'm working on something or planning a vacation, I'll throw it into ChatGPT and I'll throw it into Gemini and just see the different responses I get. AI is not a search engine. I know a lot of people use it as one, but when you're creating a prompt, brevity is not our friend. We want to be very specific. We know what we want. The AI chatbot does not. And sometimes they just give very common, very generic responses. So there are so many acronyms about prompting. It's kind of funny, actually. There's the create, where you have a character request, you give examples. I'm going to jump into a presentation that Google shared with everyone that was at ISTE. So I'm going to go into how they suggest prompting. So I'm going to pop over here to this presentation, and they use this. I want my laser. They use this parts framework. Parts framework. And what it is you have, so we've got the acronym parts. There's always an acronym in education. So persona. So first thing is you want to set Gemini's role. So act like a coach, act like an instructional engineer, or you are you are a experienced eighth grade science teacher in Ohio. So you give them a role. And then act is you ask clearly for the task that you want. So you want to use action words like create, rewrite, explain, align to get specific results. And then R, recipient, who is it for? So help tailor the output to the student group, to staff, community members. So it just said, who is this for? The theme, so add your topic. So this is the guts of it. Guide the contents like early literacy. If you're a science teacher at the high school and you're talking about DNA structure, or if you're a counselor and you're using it for a social emotional learning lesson. So you want to say, what is your topic? And then this is one that I actually always forget to put in, is what is the structure? What is the format you want? So if you want it like a lesson plan, if you say, I have 40 minutes, I need this broken down into chunks. So, you want to say you're going to spend 10 minutes on this and then 15 minutes on this. You could say, I want it in the 5E. If you're a science teacher and you want it in the 5E, or you want a UDL framework. Or if you're looking for a newsletter, I want a newsletter, I want a rubric, I want slides. or a chart. So just say what type of output you want. So a simple prompt would be just give me some lesson ideas for ninth grade biology. Not awful, but I think that's a lot of us will just throw that in there. And it's okay, but it's not giving the instructional goals. It's not saying what type of activity, like very specific, but ninth grade biology, that's huge. Then the next one, which is getting better, suggests 3 activities to teach ninth graders about DNA. So now we've got specific topic that we want, but we still don't have the details on the instructional design or the classroom format. Another thing that you could throw in if you're, coming up with some lesson ideas is say how many ESL students you have, or if you have special ed students, and say that you want, differentiation for those students. And then this is using that the parts framework. And this is acts as an instructional designer for ninth grade biology teacher, introducing. So now we've got more context, introducing students to DNA structure and function. And then suggest 3 lesson ideas, 1 interactive, 1 inquiry, and then 1 collaborative project. You have to use your human brain when you get the results. You have to look at it and say, okay, is this right? And if it's not, then you can go back and forth. You're not stuck with what produced. So we've got a prompt, and then it's broken down by the different personas based on the color. So this one, you're a high school biology curriculum teacher. So you've got the persona, and then design a 5E lesson for 10th grade students. Introducing the structure and function of DNA. So we've got the theme. And then include engaging lab activities, a claim, evidence, reasoning, CER, writing prompt as an exit ticket. So in this one, you're creating an exit ticket for your class. I'm going to hop back here. And okay, so challenging the results that AI gives. So AI results are not always what you need. And you do need to read the prompt or read the results and take a look and say if it sounds reasonable. You're not just going to take this and go without using your teacher brain, your human brain to look at it. So maybe after a prompt, you would say, zoom in on one aspect. Like I like option 4, but I need 10 more examples of that. So this is your assistant. You can go back and forth with Gemini as many times to get it exactly what you want. And you can tell it, yes, this is perfect. This is what I want. And a lot of times when I put a prompt in, I will end the prompt with, do you understand? Do you have any questions for me? And a lot of times Gemini will come back and ask for some clarifying questions. You can also say, this is not what I'm looking for. Try again. So it is think of it like an intern. So you get a brand new, or your student teacher, they're all fresh and excited, but they don't have the knowledge, the background knowledge that you have. You're not going to first day of them being in your class, you're not just going to hand them over your class. You're going to be looking at what they're doing and reviewing their lesson and guiding them through it. So kind of think of that like an intern or a student teacher. And then this just gives some ideas. So use cases for educators and then staff in general. And it is go from a blank page to a grant proposal. And sometimes it is really, you have an idea of what you want. You want to send a letter to parents about the Halloween party, but you want to make it kind of fun. And it's just a starting point instead of staring at a blank page. It's not going to do all of our work for us. You still want it to sound like you. So some educator, you can draft lesson plans aligned to your learning objectives. You can re-level text to help with your special needs student or maybe students on a 504. You can have it help create assessments or rubrics. Can be a little overwhelming, and you could say, I need a rubric. You upload your lesson. So the next one is I have, or Google provided different prompts. So when I share this presentation, you'll be able to click on this. And so there's one on planning, assessment, instructional material, and then administrative tasks. So this first prompt, you are a ninth grade biology teacher. Design a 5-day lesson sequence introducing DNA structures and function to students with mixed prior knowledge. Align each day's focus to the NGSS standards and include a balance of interactive, inquiry-based, and collaborative learning. So that's the prompt. And then some tips that Google suggests is ask Gemini to include vocabulary scaffolds and formative checks for days 3 and 4. So that's something you can, keep going. And then, so what I'm going to do, is I'm going to get out of this. So let's take this prompt. I'm just going to take this exact prompt and let's throw it into Gemini. So here's our Gemini, and you can find this in your waffle. Gemini is in our waffle, or just gemini.google.com. And to start a new chat, it usually just opens up with that chat bot. If I wanted to create a lesson, what I will do is I will put it in Canvas mode. And what that does, oh, we got some new video. There's new stuff happening all the time. I don't think we want to do a video right now. Maybe we'll do video in another session. So I'm just going to paste this prompt in here. I have it in Canvas mode. And then right here is 2.5. You see there's a little drop down. You have choice of 2.5 Flash or this reasoning and math coding. I'm going to leave it on 2.5 Pro, and then you just click submit. And what it does here is it will walk you through its thinking. So it's designing day 1, mapping out day 2. So it shows what it's doing. And then if you want to see what it's doing, I'm now finding 5 days. So it goes through its thinking. You can actually click on that and see its thinking. All right, and then it says it's always very conversational. Of course, here's a 5-day lesson plan sequence introducing DNA structure. So when you bring something into Canvas, you'd see it's still creating. You can then edit anything on this side, or I could highlight something. You see how it says Ask Gemini? And I could say, create a more compelling title. So then you're just focusing on that, and then it goes through and it's thinking and it's reframing the title, and then it will edit that. I can also go in and edit this document. When you're not in Canvas mode, okay, so cracking the code of life. That's kind of fun. So day 1, cracking the code of life, and I can delete things, I can undo, I can bold things, highlight, or I can bold. When you're just in normal conversation prompting back and forth with Google Gemini, you can't really edit. So I can't delete this word updated. I can't change anything here. But when it's in Canvas mode, I have full editing access to this. And I can, of course, go back and keep going back and forth with Gemini here. And when it's in Canvas mode, if you go to share and export, when you're happy and you've reviewed it, we always want to use our human brain, is I can then export this to Docs and it opens in another tab. And so then it just puts it into a Google Doc. I can share it with my teaching partners. I could say, what do you think? Let's work on this. Um, and I can also, in the create, I can create an audio overview of what I have, of what is right here. And the audio overview is pretty amazing. It's not really necessary in this example because I can very easily read this. But you can create an audio overview of this text. So always click on that create, because there's some fun things in there. And then I can exit out of the canvas mode. So I can close canvas mode, but it's right here. So I have day one, cracking the code of life right here. And so here's the cracking the code of life. And then day two, day three, and then day four and day five. So this is the 5-day lesson plan sequence. That's all from just that one prompt. It does save whenever you put in a prompt, it'll save it over here in these little bubbles. If you want to rename or pin, what pin does is it keeps it to the top because it's kind of like a Facebook feed. So every time you interact, it'll just push things down. So if you want to pin it, it'll keep it at the top and it'll ask, do you want to, so I'm going to put example prompt. And then I'm going to pin it and now it'll be at the top. So that's, and then I could go back in and go back and forth. I could dip back in, find day two when it's appropriate, and then work with that. All right, let's look at the next prompt. Sort of move that around here. And when I share this, I have them hidden right now, but when I share this with everyone, there's more prompts. So lesson creation, unit design, course syllabus. So there's multiple prompts here. I just have them hidden for what we're doing right now. So the next prompt, you're a 10th grade world history teacher, rewrite an Industrial Revolution exam using the same learning objectives and numbers of questions. So you're saying what persona, and then we want to take something that we've used in the past and upload it to Gemini and just say, you know what, I've been doing this lesson for a while. I just want to rewrite this exam that I've used. And then you're saying adjust the wording and format, excuse me, to provide new practice opportunities for students who need an alternative version. So with this one, if you want to upload anything, so you have an old lesson that you've used for years, you just go to this plus sign, so add files, and then you can upload it from your computer, from your desktop, or from your H drive, or it's automatically connected to your drive. If you use this for the first time, it may ask to connect to your drive. But I could go into my Google Drive. I could upload this, and then it doesn't really. I'm going to say rewrite. I'm going to snag this and paste, rewrite this lesson. Perfect. So I just created that Gemini just created that day one lesson. So I'm going to upload it and add it and say, I'm going to have it just rewrite the lesson. Now I'm going to leave it out of Canvas mode just so you can see what it looks like if you don't use Canvas mode. And then I'm just going to submit. And once again, it has that just sort of showing its thinking. So without being in Canvas mode, I can't edit it. So that's just showing you I do like the Canvas mode. So we've got focus, and then this, we have a little link here. So let's see what this takes us to. So this takes us to a Google Doc. Okay, so that's showing the original document. Got it. Got it. Sorry, I wasn't sure what those links were. So that will bring me back to what I uploaded. So if I click on that, it's showing me how it's taking each part of that lesson and is updating it based on my prompt. So now I have all of that, and that's my source. Down here at the bottom, I can export it to, oh, I could do a draft email. That's nice. I could export it to Doc, so I still have that opportunity, and then I could edit it in that Google Doc. I just can't edit here. Um, and then I always check out the Skinny Snowman to see what options. Ooh, I can listen. We were talking about that, and I wasn't sure if we could listen to the response. So let's see if I.
Day 1. The Blueprint for Beings. Focus question. How do living things know what they are supposed to be? NGSS Standard. Hydrogen sulfide LS 3 to 1.
Nice.
Ask
So then I
questions
could
to
pause
clarify.
right here and then resume. So that's under the Skinny Snowman. And then I could report any legal issues that I see. So you can give feedback to Gemini if you are happy with their response. And then it usually says, thank you, your feedback helps. From this, I could follow up and create an exit ticket. Now, I'm not going to go back to the whole parts prompt because it already has that because I'm staying in this chat feed. If I was starting a whole new chat, I would need to, put the foundation, who you are, what I want. But since we're already in this conversation, so to speak, I could say create an exit ticket to check for understanding. So here's the exit ticket. So the lesson compared DNA. If an organism like an elephant is the finished product, what is the role of DNA? I wish I taught DNA structure. So you could create an exit ticket. And of course, like I said, you always want to look it over, see if that makes sense. I could change to multiple choice and list the answer. So I could transform the ticket. So it's transforming that ticket and it's going to make it a multiple choice option. So now we've got multiple choice and then the answer key, which I do appreciate at the bottom. Let's look at some other examples of prompts. Instructional materials. So create a student-facing lab activity for 8th grade science students. And it looks like he is in Canvas mode also here. So that's another one. IEP aligned. So if you have students that have specific IEP modifications, so you are a special ed support teacher, modify a 5th grade social studies assignment about geography to align with a student's IEP goal. So then you're including, so that is the goal. So this would be the IEP goal. Include simplify instructions, visual support, and single step rubric. So this one is communicating with families, and this example is definitely one that you'd want to put in Canvas mode. Draft a positive, encouraging email to parents about upcoming testing. So I will copy that. I'm just going to put school counselor So here's the letter for parents, and here I could enter a prompt. So I could edit this, but I could also enter a prompt, and I could say adjust the reading level to sixth grade. And it highlights how it changed the reading level to make it maybe a little bit more accessible to our families. And then over here, I've got the share, and I could just copy this and put it into an email if I'm going to do that. There is a create button right here, and you could create an audio overview, and that you can only do in Canvas mode. It's not really, I mean, for this example, we don't really need an audio overview of this, but I did want to show you what this sounds like. All right, let's listen to this audio, to an overview of a parent letter, which is kind of silly, but
Okay, so today we're diving deep into an email. Just a simple email sent to sixth grade parents about a mid-year math assessment.
Right. But it's more than just an email, isn't it? It's like a strategy document laying out an educational philosophy.
Exactly. Our mission is to kind of decode that philosophy. What's the school really saying about learning and evaluation here? It mentions focusing on pre-algebra and geometry.
And right off the bat, the language is telling. They explicitly call it a helpful checkpoint.
Yeah, and they make a point of saying it's not a stressful high-stakes exam. That's a pretty direct statement.
It signals a huge shift, really, moving away from just measuring performance towards something else. Intervention, maybe?
But doesn't that create a bit of a paradox? If it's truly low stakes,
isn't that crazy?
So crazy.
So I could download this audio overview, and it says it's a video file, but it's not. It'll download as an MP3. And then research. So if you're writing a grant proposal, grant writing is so intimidating. You could have your grant writing support coach. So then it will walk you through, it's saying right now you're supporting me in writing this. I'm developing a proposal to study the impact of AI on teaching. Help me outline a compelling draft. It's going to go back and forth with you and work through that proposal. So are there any questions? Anything that you would like to share? I can actually stop recording. If I can figure out how to stop recording more.